In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Chadwick. How are you?
About that good, my friend. It's Miller time again. Doing
I'm
fine.
going the other M word. I'm going Modelo today.
Oh, look at you, you cultured son of a bitch.
I know.
How are you doing, Frank?
I'm good. I actually left a party next door so I can record, and they were like, "Oh, we're drinking Modelo," so I grabbed a Modelo and I ran over here, and here we are.
Nice.
So, it's funny being like deeply antisocial. And that's okay. And just being like, I'm going to take a beer and leave to record a podcast. That's fine. Here we are.
Yeah.
You're great. I'm great. Things are great. The world is dying, but that's okay. You know what I like to do? No, it's not that. It is. I mean, yes, but no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Crank your hog. I don't know.
Again, yes, but no.
Easy question, right?
Right. Come on now. You got a hog. It's got to get cranked. Take pictures of cars. You know what you like to do?
Cars, thank you.
What do you like to do? What do you like to do?
I shoot terabytes of volumes of videos.
Oh, I think it was you're a shooter, not a dribbler.
Shooter in the cooter. But yeah, no, I shoot a lot of car video. Wow, man, look at us. But yeah, I kind of pick up what you're throwing down here, man.
Yeah, we should talk about it because we're 130 something episodes in. And how many times have we ended the pod being like, you're like, I do catch me on YouTube, but I do videos of cars. And I'm like, I'm a professional car photographer. Find me on Instagram where I take pictures of cars, and that's the thing. Right. Yeah, we never ever friggin' talk about it.
It's true. Yeah, it just kind of made sense when this idea popped into my brain. I'm like, you know what, Frank and I do shoot like just literally like terabytes upon terabytes of car footage, and we never fucking talk about it. So I thought it'd be a cool, like, and this is not a master's level course on photography nor filmography or any of that, because I'm not classically trained at all.
Anythingography, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for sure. Well, yeah. The new pornographers, but yeah, like it's not something, and especially on a. What's funny is like discussing visual media via audio media, right? Like this is a podcast, and maybe you're the lion's share of our people. Like, yes, we do have a video. Go watch the video. Chadwick, my friend, your friend, right here. He puts a lot of work into making this be a thing that you can consume via the visual media.
Yeah, your ocular senses. Yeah,
that's right. But ultimately, it's a podcast thing, and this is an audio-based media. So discussing visuals via audio is always a little bit of a challenge. So no, you're right. This is not a master's course. We're not trying to teach anyone anything, but we just want to have an open discussion about stills, about video, and about what we do and how we do it. Yeah. Video. I mean, I dabble in it, and I spend some time doing it. I've got a whole rig. I've got a gimbal, and I've got some GoPros, and I've got a drone, and I love. It's really fun to do. It's time consuming.
Yes,
as you well know.
Yeah, very much.
So I don't. If I've got something out on a photo shoot and I'm dealing with it, like it adds an extra layer of time and complexity to do video. So yes, I do it, but I will defer to you on the moving parts of it, because that's more the medium that you play in. Yeah. So when it comes to all things video and video adjacent and cars, what say you, sir?
Yeah, no, video is the bulk of what I do, whether it be reviews, which obviously super video heavy, right? The entire thing's a video production. The final product is a video, usually. So on top of that, when I'm doing my, garage stuff, when I'm doing a project, dude, just videotaping all the work I do. Literally, Frank, like each video I make, like a 15-minute, like, here's how you do everything under the hood on this car, is literally chopped up 6 hours of like raw footage, right?
And it's what we need?
What?
a blood boy, and then a blood boy that can also operate a camera, right?
Seriously, but who is gonna sit there and take that in?
A
And
blood
like,
boy would.
here, focus on this one bolt I'm trying to show that's super tricky to get to. It's like,
Yep.
so like I shoot a lot of video, and video is very time and space consuming in both of those senses, because video, just if you're shooting in like 4K or even in 1080p, just takes up space. And I'm a hoarder, so I keep all my old video. I've got
Yep.
terabytes and terabytes of hard drives of just like,
Yes.
who wants to
Yep.
see a guy do a valve cover gasket on an Escort GT?
I bought a label maker purely for labeling hard drives, which is not okay. Like
It's so bad, right? It's so bad. And then my folder structure is immaculate. But seriously, yeah, I shoot a lot of video, and there's some things I take away from it. I mean, yes, obviously, video looks cool having a car drive by, but if you're on the side of a busy, like, town major causeway and you're shooting a car driving by at traffic speeds in traffic, that's not exciting. So
No.
the thing I really put a lot of effort in my reviews is I go somewhere really scenic, somewhere beautiful, where the car can be shot in isolation. Because to me, and even when I do the photo aspect of it, not having another car in frame is huge, because I want that car to look like it's the only car that exists. Because in that moment, when I'm shooting my experience reviews, it's just, that's all I want you to think about, is this one car in a vacuum. So backdrop, I can't stress backdrop, and I'm sure you're going to touch upon it with your photos, because you got your subject, right? But what's in that background can be just as captivating. That car, like I said, going down a regular suburban street, who cares? But that car
Mise scene.
Yeah, if you will, right? Like, and then that backdrop, before the car is even on screen, before it even enters the frame, you're looking at like this beautiful vista where I shoot, and it's just like absolute mountains and just trees, and it's just gorgeous clouds in the sky, and then a car rolls gently into the scene, or violently depending on what I'm driving, or slowly depending on what I'm driving, and it's just and noisily,
Metro convertible,
and pollutingly, but honestly, man, I can't stress backdrop. Like, put that effort in. I think that's something that's really quick. Like, if you want to just film a car, I think a lot of people just go film a car. But when you start integrating those design touches, like a beautiful scenic backdrop, or something that contrasts the style of the car or complements it, like, and maybe you can speak about the photography side of it, but there's just something about a beautiful backdrop on a car review that just really captures my heart.
And I think whether you're shooting stills or whether you're doing video, I am personally, and this is debatable, but I am personally a big proponent of what I like to call selling the dream, right? Which is, especially because, let's face it, most of what I'm doing, most of the photo work, almost all of the car photo work that I'm doing, and video work, the little bit of video work that I'm doing, is for auction for a car that's being sold. And so if someone is looking at that car to be sold, there are people that like the thought of, oh, we want this car in an indoor studio. We're going to shoot it there, whether it's still or video. It's in a white void. There's the white backdrop and all the things. And for me, exactly what you're speaking about is, I'm a big proponent of placing that car in a place where someone can see themselves with that car in that locale, right?
That's it.
And that's exactly what you're getting at, is you want the car going down Sunset, Twisty Mountain Road. It's well lit, and it's moving, whether it's a drone shot or whether it's just a panning shot as it goes down Mines Road, or what have you, a place where somebody wants to take the car, which is a driver's car, and drive it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about, and I could not agree more with you. Other people would disagree, and I'm not. I don't. I think, sell the dream.
Yeah, and like, all that has to do with camera placement too. Like, so I'm a solo operation out there, and I'm not as high tech. I have a tripod and a camera, but there's something.
You are a tripod.
Yeah, true. When the camera is resting on one of my members, it's just, you got to set it up, and you want to frame your shot just right, so you have some cool landscape. You got the entry point of the car somewhere dramatic where it sweeps in, and I think a fixed angle can be very, very powerful because as a spectator, if you're on the side of the road and a car drives by, you're not flying around looking at the car and you're not like running beside it per se. I think if you set up a good fixed angle at like regular height, it gives you that experience. Like you're standing on that side of the road and that car just goes by you and you're just like, damn, I just saw that. So
Mhm.
I kind of try to work that into it. And I, not just backdrop, but framing in general, right? Like, and I know with your shots, you're doing that too. Sometimes you can get some cool, like out of focus, like tree branches in the
Sure.
foreground, and it just adds the extra depth. And to me,
Dimension. Yeah.
that makes a photo a lot more exciting or a video more exciting because now you have like the environment in the
Mhm.
shots. Sometimes I'll set the camera behind some like wheat or tall grass going in the breeze, and it just brings you into that environment,
Yeah. And
Love
with
that stuff.
what's yeah, and that speaks to kind of what we are just talking about putting someone in that spot with
In
that
there.
specific vehicle in that moment. Um, but there's different ways to do it, and there's different approaches to doing it with regards to with video. Like, and what's interesting is, and you can speak to this on the video side. Um, you A lot of that is done on site when you're holding the camera or the tripod is holding the camera or whatever. But how much, at least for what you're doing, and this is going to be a question, like how much of that are you doing, and I hate this term, but in post? Like how much of that is at the hands of the editor, where you and you have to know when you're doing your own edits, you can set yourself up for a shot and say, I know I'm going to edit this way, and this is why I'm shooting it this way. So
Mhm.
that's a component of it. But um how much are you reliant on the editing process to paint the picture versus on site?
Yeah, nothing. I do nothing to doctor my shots. They're just the pure video file. If the lighting's super bad, I'll try to make some adjustments there. But honestly, it's really just clipping the video because with a fixed tripod, obviously I'm going back to the car after I walk to where I post the camera, and it's on a
Mhm.
single lane mountain road. So I'm like jogging so I don't get run over. I go
I
back to
believe
the
it's pronounced
car.
yogging.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Milk was a
Yogging.
bad idea. But like honestly, there's very few places to even safely pull off. So you're running back to your car, you're turning around, you do the drive-by, which is
It's
like a
why we
12
it's why
second
we need our
clip,
blood boy.
turn
You and me
around,
need a blood
yeah.
boy.
And you come back the other way. So really it's just me chopping excess. And like we said, we shoot
Yeah.
so much more film that we don't use. But that's all it is. That's my editing for most of my video.
She
I
cuts.
really don't do that much in post. I try
Yeah.
to get the lighting set. I use the right camera equipment, try to get the settings so it looks decent, and then I just
Mhm.
roll with it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting because as I said before, I do video very sparingly. Most of it's GoPros for just like walk around in car stuff. I have done some gimbal work. I have it. I don't. If you're watching along home, it's over here. You can't see it, but it's over here. I've got it on the floor charging because I'm a clown, and I don't have things to put my stuff places to properly prop up my equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on the video side, it's far more immersive, and it's actually way more difficult, in my opinion, to get very good at video than it is at stills.
Mm,
And I've been shooting stuff with emphasis in still work for since I was in high school. Like I was
right.
shooting in film. I got a press pass to Sonoma. At the time it was Infineon, and
Hmm.
even then it was freshly named Infineon because it used to be Sears Point
Serious point. Yeah, yeah.
here at Sonoma Raceway. I got a press pass for the very first Formula D event in 2003.
Oh,
It
wow.
was 03 or 04. And
Yeah.
so I had a press pass for that. So that was 20 freaking years ago. And shooting stills, because at the time, like you would have been like just mini DV, like
Oh God.
think like skateboard videos from the 90s. Like that's what you would have done video on.
Hmm.
There was none of this like hybrid DSLR. It can take pictures and do video. That was
Yeah.
15 years away at the time. So um I've been doing still work for a long time, and it has changed, but not that much.
Mm.
And so the thing with video, before I start waxing poetic about still stuff, is there's there's an entire element that doesn't exist in the world of still photography, of proper photography. That's audio.
Yeah.
Audio is like it's not a thing. And so having to, I've done a lot of wedding photography and a lot of, and what's interesting is in that realm, and I feel like it carries over to the car world a little bit, is still in a lot of ways emphasis is put on still photography
Mm-hmm.
and not on video, and the video gets the short end of the stick. So when it comes to weddings, I'm getting married, I'm going to get a wedding photographer, and then like 6 weeks before the ceremony, they're like, oh shit, my cousin had like a videographer and they made like this sizzle reel video for their wedding and it was really cool.
Right.
We've already shot our wad for budget, so let's just like find a videographer. We'll offer like $900 to like pay that. Meanwhile, they're paying their wedding photographers $7,800, right?
Yeah.
And but that videographer has to deal with video and motion and white balance and the post-production side and audio.
Audio is big.
Audio is a big deal, and it's when you're talking about cars, enthusiast cars, like the stuff you like to play with, the stuff I like to play with, audio is a big deal. You got to capture that audio. And so but also, again, I feel like the videographers and people that are playing in the video space with regards to cars get the short end of the stick. And so putting in that extra effort to do, the panning shots and the video and doing all the post-production and dealing with the huge file sizes and then also dialing in audio is a thing.
Audio's tough. So, at any given time, I might be in the car. I might be doing some narration where I have a GoPro on me, a GoPro on the road, and my DSLR on the side capturing the drive-by. So I got 3 cameras running at once, all collecting independent audio. Yeah. Some are like independently mic'd up for real good quality, but it's
you're trying to avoid getting a camera and a shot and all the things.
That too, yeah. The dead cat just dangling in front of your GoPro. Never done that.
It happens. It happens.
Never done that. But honestly, the thing is, like, nothing will fuck up a video worse than like choppy audio. Like if you get like wind buffeting, or you get or just like that a tinny noise, or like just some echoes or anything, it can ruin your video. So like, videos are like one and done, right? Like once you shoot a video, and usually you don't have the ability to review with quality audio in the field. I don't operate like that. I don't have a headset in a real professional mixing situation. So I just shoot it and I look to see if it recorded, and I'm like, okay, that better be fucking good.
It's there.
And you're on location, right? You're out in the mountains.
Someone else's car.
Yeah,
get another shot
too.
at it.
God forbid. Yeah. So audio is huge, and it really, I'm not a big audiophile, but I do try to be like, I want my voice to be clear. I don't want the sound of the road noise to be louder than my voice. All the YouTube tropes, right? Like, or you're watching a film and you can hear like the clunks in the car louder than the guy's voice, or you hear wind noise.
Some cars are just that clunky.
Yeah, true. Or like overpowering wind noise, or they put background music. Let's talk about audio. They put background music
MIDI,
that's louder.
like MIDI from 1996.
Horrible, dude. And I think, especially for my garage stuff, I do like background music because the sound of just nothing is kind of creepy on those videos. You can
just adding in like bait sound effects.
Dude, most of my garage edits are just getting farts out of the video, and that's the goddamn truth. I want to make a compilation one day that's like 15 minutes of garage farts. It's just like
yes, that what you need to do when you finally decide to call it quits and be like, look, I'm 57. I'm done doing this bullshit. Scotty Kilmer got like killed in a freak torque wrench accident.
Yeah, sure.
High on Quaaludes, and so I'm hanging it up. I'm done. That should be the last video you publish. Is your garage pants shitting mega mix.
The worst. I'm editing those videos, Frank. It's usually some obscene hour of the night, and I am just giggling like a fucking schoolgirl. And I listen to it, and of course, I send a highlight to like my friends and stuff. I'm like, hey, listen to this. This is what editing's about, but
Yeah.
dude, yeah, audio is big, especially when I'm doing my garage projects and I'm talking someone through how to do something, because I don't do a lot of voiceover for those. I do live, like
Yeah.
commentary. And you want to
Yep.
talk about trick, and I do want to get on photos real soon here, but
No, yeah. Stretch it out.
the video of doing like the mechanical repairs is the most challenging thing to shoot, because
Yeah.
two things. You need to have a fixed camera. No more handy cam bullshit. Like, I hate
Yeah.
those to do videos where someone's like fucking in and out of focus. They're having a seizure. But you got to set your camera up, right? That doesn't restrict your mechanical access. And you're usually focused on a bolt that's like 8 levels of depth behind like cables and wires. So you got to manual focus a lot.
I have to tip my hat. Like,
dude,
you do a good job with that. Like, if you look back at like the in garage shit you do,
yeah,
and the focusing on what is at hand and dialing it in and all the things and not shitting your pants on audio, you do a good job at that. You really
thanks,
do.
man. And like, it's hard.
That's your, if you are gonna hang your hat on something that you're good at, it's that. And I mean that genuinely. Like, that is not an easy thing to do.
It's not. And then the whole time I'm actually talking, I don't do voiceover, so it's like I'm talking and like actually doing it, and I keep it entertaining.
Oops, I just rounded off this bolt, and now I'm considering putting a revolver in my mouth.
Yeah. And I'm pretty funny like that. Like when I fucking open like a radiator.
Oops, suicided. That one option. Yeah. Like that. It's just, we've all been, like, anyone who's turned wrenches has been there, where there's like that moment of pure rage because,
and I always capture it.
Something happens.
Yeah. I think that's what makes the videos fun. Or I break something, or I open the coolant petcock and it fucking splashes over me. I'm like, you should make sure to taste some of the coolant I just roll with the punches. And
oops,
I think
I'm bleeding.
Yeah, all the time. Yep, I needed that cut. But yeah, that's probably what I would say. Arguably, the hardest video I shoot is that kind of repair stuff, because a lot of times the lighting is horrific. You're trying to illustrate something buried deep in like a '90s car vacuum line, bird's nest. Good stuff. But
no,
let's talk about photography, man. Because
and
I love taking photos, and I am fucking super amateur. Every once in a while, I'll pull off a great shot, or I think it's a great shot. But
sure,
you, sir.
I mean, that's how I don't want to say that's how I got into this, because that makes it sound like I don't know or give a shit about cars. If I had to pick, it's tough. I have this like thought in my mind, and that's not thought with like THOT. I mean, maybe I have this thought in my mind, and it's 50% camera, 50% car. It's like some weird like transformer furry porn.
Frank has 2 wolves inside of him.
Exactly.
Both of them are retarded. I don't know. I love that meme. Dude, hard R.
Both of them have adult onset Downs. But no,
okay. Sorry.
But what I'm getting at is, I'm probably a car person first, camera person second. And I say that as someone who, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to be that guy. If you're playing along at home and you're watching, see this random collection of like cubes over here. If you're watching on YouTube,
he's got cubes.
What I got cubes. I know how to use them. All that is 100% vintage cameras. So I have all of that is old school film cameras. I learned on film. I probably was shooting pictures for 5 or 6 years before digital cameras were realistically a consumer available thing. And that's not like some weird like get off my lawn badge of honor thing where like you've never even learned to roll the film. Like some, I don't know, like air cooled Porsches are the real Porsches and water cooled ones are bullshit. I'm not that guy. But I suppose what I'm getting at is I've dicked with cars and I've dicked with cameras for a very long time. 25 years effectively. And things have changed, things have moved on, but what hasn't changed is light and lighting. And so when it comes, like, I have a lot of people that ask me like, hey, I want to take good pictures of a car. I bought a used DSLR. So
Mm.
now now I'm a pro. And it's like, well, like
Effectively. Yeah.
it's far more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, okay, let me go like super bare ass bone. Photography, like the etymology of that is like light painting.
Mm.
That's what it is. And so light is paramount. So if you can grab a camera, no matter what it is, it could be your cell phone, it can be a DSLR, it can be a high end mirrorless camera with a really top end lens, and you've got a polarizing filter on, and you're doing all the right stuff.
Mm.
None of it means a rip if you're not taking the pictures in the right place at the right time at the right thing. And beyond that, practice, like,
Yeah.
and not even like just go out and do it.
Mm.
And so many people are ask me about, like, they want to get into taking pictures of cars and they want access to cars. And part of the reason people want to do it is to get access to cars. And if that's your reason for doing it, like, it's a bad reason to do it. But ultimately it's a thing of repetition. Take pictures of something, look at what you've done, try and figure out why it was not great and how you can move on that, and how you can change what you're doing. The thing about cars when it comes to still photography, if it's a good car and it's clean, it's effectively a mirror on wheels.
Yeah.
It's shiny as shit. You've
Mm.
got glass, you've got shiny panels, you've got light coming in different angles. So if you're shooting it at like a front quarter image, the front part might be in full sun and the side might be in full shade. You have to adjust for that. You have to deal with the reflections based around that. If you're just learning, grab a polarizing filter, a circular polarizing filter, and learn how to use it. I've been contemplating making a video on how to do that. Maybe I should.
You should.
Maybe I should become a car photography influencer.
I mean, the photographer's garage kind of lends itself to that.
It is.
Pathway.
It
I mean,
is.
I'm just gonna say it.
It just, the photographer's garage, and you like click on it. It's just me like slowly dying of like intravenous drug use in my garage. Just so yes, talking like what's interesting about still photography when it comes to cars is it might I'm just going to try and boil it down to its like most basic element, which is, why are you doing it? And like, what is your end game, right? Because someone who's like, I want to take pictures of cars because I want to drive cool cars, that's a different situation than someone who says, I'm a photographer, I really like cars, I want to be the best at whatever. Maybe it's like, I want to be the best at, I want to get into publication. I want to be published in Road and Track. That's a much different focus than someone who started getting into it sort of like how I did, which was taking pictures for an online option. It's a different deal. It's also different for someone who says, hey, I want to be the next like North Borders, or some YouTuber who is 50% stills and 50% video, and they do video about them taking still photography. No shame in that game. If that's what you want to do, you need to curate what you're doing, how you approach it, how you approach your gear, how you approach your clients, you know, and then go from there. So when it comes down to the basic situation in getting into this is, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Curate your gear and your focus towards what you are trying to accomplish, And then the last piece I'm going to say here is reach out to other people that are doing what you want to do.
Mm.
So, like, if somebody messaged me today and said, "Hey, I've seen all the photos you've done in these online listings. I want to start doing that. I'm just getting into it. What do I do?" How much time do you think I'm going to give that guy? A metric fuck ton. Like, I'm going to be like, "This is what you want to do.
I mean, how much time you got?
This, like, here's my phone number. Give me a call. Like, just whatever." Like, I would love to be a steward for other people that want to do what I do. Now, if they come to me and says, "Hey, I'm doing something that I don't do," I'm gonna say, "Hey, like, I don't do that. Talk to this other guy." There's no shortage of people, no matter what. Like, nobody's reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, "I've discovered a new way to take pictures of the car." Like, no. Reach out to somebody who is doing what you're doing. Ask them about it. I promise you, 80% of the time, they're going to respond and they're going to be supportive of what you're doing. And if anything, even if they tell you to kick rocks, at least, like, you've tried, you can move on to the next one, and you're building a network, and half of this business is network. So take pictures, don't stop, figure out what you want to do, reach out to someone who's doing it.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, right there with that too is if you're gonna shoot something, don't limit your shots. Go hard.
That's it too, right? Like,
Dude, just shoot your
when
load because you get out there, right?
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
You can't see my hands.
I assumed you were. I heard a little quickening of your breath and heart rate. But anyway, you get out there, you shoot as much as you can because there's nothing more that sucks than when you go to edit whatever your final production is going to be, whether it be for an automotive listing or you're putting a review together or whatever you're doing, and realizing you missed a bunch of cool shots. And also, I invite you, because what happens when you do a lot of stuff like my reviews, I can get very very methodical, very like tried and true, and keep doing the same thing, but I don't want to do the same angle every time. Sometimes
try
those
new
random
shit.
Dude, the random shot that you just kind of half-ass, you're not even fully cropped in the right position, and you just kind of take it because it seemed cool from where you were standing. Sometimes those end up being my favorite photos. Like that, just
and that's it. And that's part of the going out and just doing it.
just shoot.
Like,
Just
the
shoot.
the amount of times where I've sat on my couch and be like, "Boy, I would love to do this," and then I just sit there. I've done that a lot, and I've also not done that a lot. But any opportunity you have, you've got some free time, you've got some gear, go out and do it.
Yeah. And
Just
don't
go
limit
out, just get out in the world.
You're your own biggest limiting factor. Like, do something different. Like, try a different angle. Try like I don't know. Just don't
Try
overthink
intravenous drugs. Whatever.
PCP, I've heard, is good. We talk about it a lot around these parts. But that's a big thing. And then, man, why is the 50 such a perfect lens, Frank? It's pretty damn good. It's pretty good.
You know what? If you can see, hold on, I can see behind me. Right about there, if you're playing along at home and watching on the video. So I have a 5D Mark III, Canon 5D Mark III, which is several DSLRs ago. It's very tired. I bought it off a friend of mine who, it was her mainstay wedding photography camera. And I bought it and I shot on it for a while as a backup. And now it's a backup to my backup, and it just sits there. I haven't touched it in probably 2 years. It has about 400,000 frames shot on it.
Wow.
All the paint's blown off it. Like, it's an old road dog, but it works. And affixed to it right now is the first, like, modern lens that I've ever purchased for a camera. So right after I graduated high school in 2002. In 2003, I bought a brand new Canon 10D, which was like the
big spender.
That was like the big dog prosumer camera, 6.3 megapixel. And with it at the time was the lens that's on that camera, which is a Canon 50 millimeter 1.4.
My new iPhone 15 Pro. I
Oh, it's
think
like
that's
50.
it's like 48. Yeah, it's
matter.
fucking bonkers, the technology. But
I don't get me started on megapixels. That's a whole
Oh,
can of
yeah.
worms. That it's immaterial. Effect.
bullshit,
Cliff Notes
dude.
version. It doesn't
You
matter.
never did
for
you never
megapixel.
run like the color what was it, color picks, Kodak color picks, those little, everybody
Yeah.
had that camera.
Yep.
And do you remember before that it was Advantix film? If you
Oh,
So I
yeah.
used to shoot a lot of film
Dude.
too, and then I
Shit.
did buy one of those
I might
Advantix
have one right here.
cameras. Yeah.
I
Dude,
might have a roll of Advantix right here.
I still have a Kodak Advantix camera.
No, I do have this roll of Ektar 25, which expired in 1991.
Oh, that's just a recommended expiration date.
No, I'm deep in the woods on Advantix shit.
Nice.
Which is, it's basically unusable. You can get it developed, you can't buy it. They stopped production in, I think, like 2006. Anyways,
yeah, short-lived.
Short-lived. It was designed to be an easy load thing. Speaking of easy loads, like that's the end of it. Is how about this? If you, dear listener, happen to be someone who is interested in the world of automotive photography, please find a way to get a hold of me, whether it's through the APA Podcast Instagram or the Photographer's Garage, or it's 4:28 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you're pounding on my front door with a broom and you're wearing less than no clothes, whatever. Don't do that. But get a hold, reach out, ask me a question. I'm here to help. And I don't have all the answers, but I can give you my experience, which is 20 something years worth of it, on the automotive and photography front. And speaking of which.
And if you have a cool car, get a hold of me and we can immortalize with an experience film.
Forever.
We'll weigh your car. You'll get the curb weight. You'll get the 0 to 60. You'll get quarter mile times, all instrumented. And we'll have a hell of a time driving on some fantastic roads and really immortalizing the car. And that's what I love about those experiences. So hit us up, friends.
You should. Yes, get it. Reach on out. Speaking of reaching.
Dear God.
Not a reach around. That's a little bit different. But we should get around.
Courteous for you, isn't it?
We should reach around to actually doing our print ad quiz game. I have an ad.
Do
you? Do you want to tell the people what we're doing? And I can quiz upon you, my friend.
I'm incredibly impressed that you have one.
I do.
So, folks, this is the Automotive Print Ad Quiz Game Show. You have heard it in the streets, and now you get to experience it in real life. What we do is we delve through old magazines. We pull out actual printed advertisements featuring automobiles. And what we do with that information is we try to read the ad. This is more challenging for me, but Frank's pretty good at this. Read through the ad, omitting anything that gives away that vehicle. The victim, in this case, me, has to guess what the hell Frank's trying to describe. And these ads are not really accurate. Let's be brutally honest with each other. I have 3 guesses to figure out what Frank is describing. I have 10 minutes on the clock. Every time I miss a guess, I can ask for a hint or he can give me a little bit of a lifeline to help me through. But that's pretty much the story. Frank, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah,
there it is. Let's go.
Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. 1-page ad.
Okay.
The top, let's say 2/3 is a photo. It's the vehicle in question. A whole bunch of mud on the tires. The rear door, lift gate, whatever we're calling it.
Excuse me. Getting emotional over it.
Okay. Oh boy, I am. Is open. There's a child hanging out in that rear, call it cargo area. In addition to the one small child hanging out in that rear cargo area, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others standing outside in an outdoorsy, muddy area. There's some green mountains in the background. There's cloudy skies.
Wow. Okay.
It then says, apparently, the British are great lovers. You're looking at one satisfied customer. That's because the blank can easily handle 5 kicking, screaming, mud-wielding kids. as well as their exhausted mother.
What are they wielding? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Mud,
Okay.
mud wheeling kids,
Okay.
as well as their exhausted mother. It's permanent four-wheel drive, 4.0-liter V8 engine, and coil spring suspension enable you to take the whole household on trips that would impress even a teenager. What's more, dual sunroofs and raised rear seating help the little ones see the top, bottom, and middle of any mountain, except while you're in the clouds. With a steel inner body cage, side impact beams, and dual airbags, the blank is one thing you won't mind getting kids into. Call 1-800-FINE four-wheel drive for the blank dealer near you, or visit our website at www.blank.com. Starting at $32,000, the blank can inspire you to become the world's greatest lover of the outdoors, that is.
Okay. Some things come right to mind. The British being great lovers is a pretty good giveaway. I think we're dealing with a British vehicle here. Dirt on the tires. I'm surprised they're not hunting foxes in the ad. This sounds
There's a
so much
shooting break involved.
Yeah. This is such a a Land Rover ad. But what vehicle are we talking? If I'm right, what vehicle are we talking about, and what period of time is the real challenge here? Now that 4-liter, it was in a lot of Land Rover products. That was was that Jag used that too? That 4-liter?
Jaguar.
If I'm right, I think Jag also used a derivative of that engine. I think it was at the time.
To be fair, if you're talking about crossover between and JLR's its whole thing, but I think the Jaguar V8 was the AJ V8, which was a different animal than the Rover V8, which would have been in Land Rover, Range Rover products.
Okay, I thought they might have shared some like DNA there, but so what quintessential British off-roader? The Range Rover was always marketing. The Range Rover was always the except for the Defender. The Defender's kind of hardcore, but the Range Rover itself, the vanilla Range Rover, is more of a mall crawler, right? It's always been, in my opinion, the mall crawler. This leaves a Disco. Now 4-liter. If we are talking about a Discovery, that is. 4-liter. Was there they mention anything else like the gearbox or anything, or is it just purely the 4-liter?
No gearbox, permanent four-wheel drive.
Yep.
4-liter, coil spring suspension, dual sunroofs, raised rear seating.
Yeah, that's definitely Disco talk. This is going to be it's definitely Discovery. I don't think it's newer. I don't think it's like what we were called the LR3 and LR4, because the word Discovery was like negative here in the States because of this car we're talking about today, probably. I think this is going to be a 1998 Land Rover Discovery. And I want to picture it in green, British Racing green. There's some derivative of green, but I bet it's not. I wish it was, though.
I've already sent you the ad, my friend.
Am I?
It is not. It is not the. It is not a green.
Land Rover silver.
Discovery. It is the original Land Rover Discovery. There were many versions of this ad.
Okay.
Most of which, like, many of them didn't talk about the British lovers thing, which I thought about doing other ones that didn't mention Britain, but I just love the concept. I just love the concept of, Discovery can inspire you to become the world's greatest lover of the outdoors.
Wonderful ad.
I love these trucks so much, and
dude, I do too.
I really want one. But I also really recognize they're garbage.
They're garbage, but
they're so good. They're so
mint,
cool.
What is the mint green they come in?
Disco 1 and Disco 2. are
You get
so
the
good.
you get the mint green, right, Frank? You do, right?
Any, really, honestly, anyone that's good, any color. You know what's cool? So
That mint
I
green.
know I bid on it because I wanted it, but I didn't get it. On Cars and Bids maybe 2 years ago, an original Disco One actual camel trophy truck
Not like a
that ran
replica.
that no it like ran in
Holy shit!
whatever Mogadishu or whatever.
Yeah.
I clearly didn't win it. I don't own it. So freaking cool.
God, they're cool.
They're and I appreciate that they're trash, but I just like I want almost any Lotus okay, here's the thing. Almost every British car is hot garbage.
The LR3 LR3 got incredibly better reliability than the
But
LR.
also garbage.
They're still garbage, but dude, they're cool. You have to admit they're fucking
No, they're
cool.
all cool.
I was
honestly
literally
the sweet spot is Disco 2.
I
A
was
late run
one
Disco 2.
I like the LR3. I was 1 hour away from driving to LA to buy a green LR3 with the caramel leather interior. I love that combo. One owner, mint condition, and he sold it right before I got on a plane and flew to LA. And that car in green, oh, I think those truck that truck still looks so good. I think the LR3 is an awesome blend of like vintage and modern. I still think they look really good.
Yeah, I mean they're good too. LR3s are good. LR4s are actually almost okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I just sent you a link to the Camel Trophy truck I bid on. It ended in 2021, June of 21. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, they're epic. I've seen a few, and I think most of the ones I've seen are probably replicas.
No, this one I want to say it has like it has like photos of it in period. Dude, it does. It has like dudes fording rivers in it and shit.
Yeah, I'm looking. This is
so
insane, dude.
Like if you click on the photos and click the other.
Yeah.
So impossibly cool. And just like I mean, I boy. I get why they're not worth anything.
Yeah, the stadium seating is so cool. If you've ever sat in one of those, it's a really cool
so
concept.
Good.
Yeah, it's smart.
And it was kind of like it was kind of stunning to me that we haven't really spent time talking about these trucks.
I know. I think it's because we
cool.
like cheap trucks, but we like cheap trucks that run reliably.
That work. Yeah. It's just, man.
I mean, I ended up with a GX, right? A Lexus GX.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately I won, but good Lord, I could have gotten to that like for a fraction of the GX price for good reason.
But it'll work a fraction of the time. It's like it's part of the deal. So good job. You got it. I was worried that the British lover part was going to be too much because there was a lot of really good ads from this time period for the Disco One. But this particular ad spoke to me.
The 4-liter was clutch, like definitely like locked down what it was, right? Like
yeah. The Rover, the old Buick 215. Yeah, good stuff. Anywho, want to celebrate by doing some PCP, my friend?
Yeah, some project car progress. And just real quick stab at it. I did shoot a review of the G20, which is fun. I think that's the last step. Yeah, it's the last step in any project I do. I take it out, shake it down to a review, 0 to 60 in just under 8.9 seconds. And that's like that was it. That was good. That was good for the period. I was a couple second or fractions of tenths of a second off from Motor Week, which is what I always aim for, and that's not bad.
Yeah, because they're cheater mode. Later. Any of that stuff is always hyper abusive.
Don't worry, I still get the comments. Like, oh, that thing should run blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, bring your 30-year-old version. I'll hook my equipment up. And we'll see.
I'm not doing a 7,000 RPM clutch dump on a prepped surface. Like, kick rocks.
In period.
Yeah, right.
Thing, right? Like you lose some ponies over time. But the thing is, in the corners, dude, I'm telling you, Frank, you got to pilot one of these with some speed because they're just unnaturally good. It's like you hear it all the time, like wrong wheel drive, but then you get in something sorted like this, and it's like, fuck it, I don't care. I don't know what this is. The way the body rotates, it could be rear wheel drive.
The LSD makes a big difference.
Huge difference, right? Yeah. You got this thing has so much good stuff going for it. Double wishbone, multi-link, and an LSD. It's like, and low curb.
And it's not huge.
Yeah, low curb weight's massive. So I mean, fuck it, dude. It's just they really dialed it in. The Primera is a fantastic car, but Infinity of this time, boy, they were doing good stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm into it. Good
good
job.
review.
Those are
Also,
good.
on the highway at 80 miles an hour, this thing is smooth, zero vibration, just
that
humming
motor is
along.
so good.
Such a good
That was
motor,
such a
but
good
chassis sorted too.
Yep.
Cool car, man. How about you, man? What kind of PCP have you been
Nothing. Good night. No,
and
really the only thing I've been up to is, man, I've been prepping all these cars for sale. The only thing I've done was been doing like mental homework, and we talked about it a little bit last week on the Accord, which my wife doesn't know about, and it's not even like me being secretive. I'm actually really excited to get rid of some cars so I can bring that car home and work on it and put this mental math I've been doing in my brain on why I think it's wrong and how I can fix it.
Sure.
Into fruition. My wife's very first car was this car. It was a white over blue Accord LXI hatch automatic. So it'll be fun because it'll be good. It'll be a good one to be like to explain away, because it'll be like, but this was the car that you had when we met. Which, like, there's a pinch of nostalgia there. But realistically, I don't want it going in the dumpster, and it'll be fun, and the price was right. So
sure.
I've been running it through the mental Rolodex. I've been ordering. I've got a shopping cart set up for some parts that I think it needs.
I love doing that, and that's to be fair, Frank, that is legit PCP, because the amount of effort you have to put in to make sure you're not overpaying for the parts, you're trying to get as many from the same source as possible so they come in around the same time. That's actually a big project car progress effort.
I will take it. I don't think it is, but that's I'll take the W when I can get it.
Well, you get into the rarer cars, it becomes an actual challenge sorting down like trim pieces and things. I think that is actual labor.
Right.
I spend a day ordering parts because I buy the worst version of any car you can find.
Right. It needs parts.
Yeah, it does. Always.
So, speaking of things that need help, that's me. And maybe that's you, Chadwick. You know what we do need help? We need help from dear listener to not hide your kids, don't hide your wife, tell them about this pod. And which is APA podcast on all of the things. Mostly if you want to follow along, do it via whatever listening platform you listen to.
Yes.
Because otherwise, the only way that you can tag along is by our mostly abandoned Instagram page.
Yeah.
That is at APA podcast on the Instagram. I'm Frank. I'm on the things as the photographer's garage. That guy's Chadwick.
It's true.
Where can you be found?
Auto Obsessive Garage, your rescues, what are we doing? Reviews, all that kind of stuff.
Adult films.
All kinds of, a lot of really bad stuff. You don't want to share with your kids and family.
We honestly, I've been thinking about this because everyone's like, oh yeah, like maybe you guys should do a Patreon or whatever. I truly think we should do an OnlyFans.
We'll talk about it off camera.
We will. On that note.
But no, seriously, guys, check us out. Like, leave some feedback about the podcast. We like that. We also do it on YouTube. Frank,
that's right.
The podcast, every episode is on YouTube if you want to see us. And we usually have the same backgrounds. Well, Frank especially has the same background.
Yeah, mine's ever present.
But we really do appreciate you guys choosing to listen to us, and we always have a good time. And I hope you guys have a good time. Leave us any feedback, any ideas for episodes or material to cover, and we would gladly entertain that.
Yes, we need the help.
Any questions? Yeah, please. But as always, take care of each other. We love you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We will.